Okay, we have a special surprise for everyone. That Swami Sarvadevananda is here. He's giving a retreat this weekend, and he will also do the gospel class. And we're just waiting for him to come. He'll be down in just a minute. So don't go away. Okay. Sorry, late. Okay, they're waiting for you. Maharaj, this is we're up to here Monday. Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kabiviritam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Hurida Janaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, your gospel is like nectar and bliss, showered upon the pain-stricken lives of suffering humanity. It brings spiritual welfare and blessings for all. They are the blessed people who preach and pronounce your message to the suffering humanity. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. It's a joy to see you again after 1 year or 2 years, I do not know. But anyway,
Yeah.
we are all
Pre-pandemic.
pre-pandemic, But anyway, so I'm here today, and will be seeing you some days now, few days more. So today we'll be reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and this day is Monday. The reading is Monday, the June of 25, 1883, the festivity at Pānihāti, Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna was at Balaram Bose's house in Calcutta. Rakhal and Naim were seated near him. The master was in ecstasy. He conversed with the devotees in an abstracted mood. Master said, "Let me assure you that a man can realize his inner self through sincere prayer, but to the extent that he has the desire to enjoy worldly objects, his vision of the self becomes obstructed." M. Yes, sir. You always ask us to plunge into God. Master joyously. Yes, that is it. That's it. Let me tell you that the realization of self is possible for all without any exception. M. That's true, sir. But God is the doer. He works through different beings in different ways, according to their capacity to manifest the divine. God gives to some full spiritual consciousness, and others he keeps in ignorance. Master. No, that's not so. One should pray to God with a longing heart. God certainly listens to prayer if it is sincere. There is no doubt about it. A devotee. Yes, sir, there is this I consciousness in us. Therefore, we must pray. Master. A man should reach the Nitya, the Absolute, by following the trail of the Lila, the relative. It is like reaching the roof by the stairs. After realizing the Absolute, he should climb down to the relative and live on that plane in the company of devotees, charging his mind with the love of God. This is my final and most mature opinion. Had God has different forms and he sports in different ways. He sports as Ishvara, Deva, man, and the universe. In every age, he descends to earth in human form as an incarnation to teach people love and devotion. There is the instance of Sri Chaitanya. One can taste devotion and love of God only through his incarnation. Infinite are the ways of God's play, but what I need is love and devotion. I want only the milk
The milk comes to the udder of the cow. The incarnation is the udder. Was Sri Ramakrishna hinting that he was the incarnation of God? Did he suggest that those who saw him saw God? Did he thus speak about himself when speaking of Sri Chaitanya? So this is a wonderful passage, we got it. Here is a very beginning is very inspirational. What he says, the Rakhal, we can imagine the environment in Balaram Bose's house in the second floor. We can go mentally and we can think Sri Ramakrishna seated in his room, which is now the place where we see Sri Ramakrishna's altar is there. And there we find the master in ecstasy. And he's conversing with the devotees in an abstracted mood. His mind is not in the world, mind is somewhere else, as it were. Unmind, as we see, as we normally remain unmindful for spiritual things. So God, Sri Ramakrishna remains unmindful about the world and everything. Mind goes into samadhi. So that's the uniqueness. And what he says is most important. Here, everything is important, but for us, it has a special significance. Let me assure you that a man can realize his inner self through sincere prayer. So like in Bhagavad Gita, we say, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. O Kunti Nandan Arjuna, declare it that I am assuring that my devotees never will perish. Here is another way, only saying it is assurance that a man can realize his inner self through sincere prayer. Even if we cannot have so much of knowledge of, and wisdom of the Vedanta or different philosophies, or have not read anything, or not able to meditate and pray deeply, but simple prayer with sincerity. That is a very assuring word. Only ours is needed a sincerity in our heart. That I want you, O Lord. But to the extent that he has is the desire, why this does not come also, he is explaining that to the extent that he has the desire to enjoy worldly objects, his vision of the self becomes obstructed. The vision becomes obstructed. Our all vision is obstructed. What is the problem? Why do I not see God? Is God should come from somewhere else? It is here and now. Here and now. I am seeing this table. It is no table. It is God in an absolute sense. Everything is God. Ramakrishna said it is name and form only, no? And Vedanta teaches us every time. What we see through Maya, through our ignorance, this world of name and form. But name and form is composed of the same element. And that has been given this idea in all the scriptures of Yoga Vasishta, Yugo, Astavakra, Drigdishya Vivek, wherever you go, this message is given. What I am seeing God. But I am misunderstanding, misapprehending. Because of what? By my mind. Why my mind is such? The mind is covered with ignorance. The ignorant mind, what is ignorant mind? What is the mind ignorant and what is the illumined mind? Ignorant mind is this, that it does not allow us to see the truth. Ignorant mind distorts the figure. It is a distorted image comes in our life. So it is that this vision of the self becomes obstructed. Impure mind is like a deep cloud. Because of the deep cloud, the sun, which is in the sun, in the sky, I don't see it. It is our everyday experience. When there is a thick layer of cloud between the sun and me, I don't see. It is total darkness. So we see in the world only, and there is no trace of God in anywhere. But as the thickness of that cloud, the dust and dirt which has accumulated in the mind, it becomes clean. It becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. Then what happens? The light, more light, sun's light becomes more manifest. And gradually, more light comes, daylight comes, and day becomes brighter and brighter and brighter. When totally the cloud is off, gone, what remains? We see light everywhere. Light was there, sun was there, sun's light was there, but it was obstructing my vision. That's why Vedanta Sarva says, Ghanachanna drishtir, Ghanachanna arkam, Jata abadvad bhati, chati mudha. The most ignorant people, they are not seeing the sun because of the clouded vision. And that is our mind. Why mind is clouded? What does it mean mind is clouded? Mind is attached to the things, temporary thing which our senses bring to us. I see something, I become fascinated with it, I like it, and my mind goes second time, third time to hold on to that, and trying to grab that joy, that bliss, which is actually everywhere. But I don't see because of my ignorance. So that's why it is the mind that man can. But what is the way? What is the way? Way is that sincere prayer. This is philosophically, Vedanta can be said, say, I am Atman, not the body. That's also another way. But what he's saying for us, we general people, need not have to think so much. Only sincerely. Sri Ramakrishna said in another place, no? So you are sitting before me, and he puts a towel and says, we don't see. You don't see me. I cannot see you. So this towel, this ignorance, this layer of ignorance in between has become so strong that it gives a distorted image of the object where everything is God. Everything is full of bliss and joy. Satchidananda ocean only. All the waves and ripples are Satchidananda. All the waves and ripples are water and water only, ocean water. But we don't recognize it as ocean water. We think individual name and form comes in between, and it confuses us. And our actions and reactions in the world, our suffering and our pain, our anguish, our fear, our anxieties, everything torments us every day. And that is the play of ignorance. And ignorance is nothing other than the mind. This mind, when it becomes prayerful, then what happens? Then Sri Ramakrishna said, Sri Chaitanya says, no? Or all the scriptures say, Avritti Rasakrit Upadeshat, Avritti, repeated practice, Vedantic way. Avritti Asakrit, not once, again and again and again and again, Asakrit. Avritti Rasakrit Upadeshat. This advice, what is Vedic scriptures are teaching us, we have to assert that again and again, remind in our mind so that this darkness goes away. Similarly, what is the bhakta's way? Bhakta will say, oh Lord, I want to see you. Please remove the veil of ignorance. No, I want to see you. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna's life itself is the greatest example. It's only by prayer. Sri Ramakrishna cried. He didn't make any philosophy at the beginning. And he has come in this age to guide us all. Sincere, pure yearning of the heart. And Sri Ramakrishna cried, Ma, are you there? If you are there, why don't you come and show yourself before me? That sincere prayer. And he is assuring sincere prayer. Then he is saying that it can be realized in this here itself. Only to the extent we have the desire to enjoy worldly objects, we are bound to enjoy the worldly objects because there we find joy, instant joy. My eyes see a beautiful thing, and my mind says, okay, wonderful, wonderful. I relish it, good food. My tongue says it is good. I say, okay, okay, joy, joy, joy. As if that is the end of all our joy. But we know the sensate joys are so limited and so reactionary. It brings joy, but brings so much suffering at the back. Reaction comes. So prayer is the thing which can reduce this ignorance, the thick ignorance. I say it is like a fanning. Take a fan and drive away the cloud of ignorance. How? By prayer, sincere prayer. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. Sri Chaitanya taught us this prayer. So it is saying that chant the name of the Lord. If we take the name of the Lord and then give the responsibility, then He will do everything. Only ours is sincere prayer. Aham tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma sucha. Only our purpose is to surrender, and then He will take up the rest of the work. So this is a very assuring word. If we can just only add our input into it, that our sincere prayer and sincere yearning really I mean to see God, the infinite. Question is that we don't, little analysis is also necessary. The sensate experience is not bad. All joy is the same joy. Vishayananda, Bhajanananda, Brahmananda. Ananda is not too different. The bliss is the same content. When it is coming to the media of sense objects, because they are limited, sense object and sense perception, when they get Vishaya Indriya Sanjogat, when the Vishaya, some object is there, and my senses are there to grab it, mind adds with it, and mind says, wow. And as soon as he says, we feel some sort of joy. But it is just a touch of joy, as if you are touching it and then instantly coming back. And then again, dark blindness comes. Then I want to have the same thing tomorrow, the third day, fourth day. An unending life struggle goes on, and we get never satisfied. We want, we wish, we crave for it, we get a little glimpse of joy, and then we suffer more and more and more. But Sri Ramakrishna says here, this can be found through bhajanananda, same ananda, through bhajan, to practice prayer, meditation, prayer, holy company, all these things, sincere, sign of sincerity, to search it from a different perspective. So one can go in this direction, and gradually, this covering, this veil, when reduced, it will reveal the Brahmananda. Bhajanananda, Vishayananda, Bhajanananda, Brahmananda. Ananda is the same, Satchidananda. There is no Ananda, there is no division between Ananda. Brahman has not divided into here little less, or as Swamiji says, each soul is potentially divine. God is not here and not here, or there or there. God is everywhere equally. Swamiji Bulchan. But Swamiji says that is potential divinity. Potential Ananda everywhere. Only it reveals to the heart, reveals to the mind. When it reveals, when the mind is clean and pure. That's why Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That only to clean and clean and clean. And as much mind will be clean by your prayer and sincerity, this mind should run for God and God alone. It cannot go anywhere else. Because this mind will tell us, why I am going through the senses to get the same, I am making so much effort, and in return, I get this much touch of joy, and I am purifying the mind, and with that pure mind, I can get so much in bhajan. As we analyze many times, that when we get sense experiences, most pleasurable experience, when I consider that second day, it does not give me joy, rather it gives a idea, oh, today is so bad. Yesterday's food was nice food. Yesterday's the situation was so unique, and today is so bad. So next day it brings us to depression. But today's little bhajanananda, little thinking of the divine, I think about 10 days afterwards. A dream, forget that. Even a little dream, good dream, we remember after 10 days, 20 days. It does not make us depressed, rather it uplifts the mind. So if mind analyzes, you want joy. Why are you searching joy there? Oh, the song is there. Nav kamal mein hai kasturi, kaisa bharama mite sadhu kare, bina sadguru. So you are searching for the truth. Why are you searching here and there? You've tried enough. Sincerely try to have it, and you try to get the direction and get in and say, yes, you can have it here itself. So this is the great instruction. I think very 2-3 lines are very inspirational. And then aim is again adding to that. Yes, sir, you always ask us to plunge into God. He is explaining the meaning that as much as the desire to enjoy the worldly objects are there, the vision is obstructed. That means, how can I reduce my attraction for the sense objects? I cannot do that. I cannot give up my job, which I am anyhow hand to mouth maintaining, and you say that, oh, there is infinite joy, give up the job. How can you give up the job unless I get another job? So mind should be engaged in some other thing. So mind should get a taste of higher joy. We can get it ourselves. We can get to seeing the sadhus and holy people, or reading the lives of the saints and others, looking at Ramakrishna's that face beaming with joy. We can just turn our attention in that way, in that direction. So Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, that is true, to plunge into it. Let me tell you that the realization of self is possible for all without an exception. This is also another wonderful one. Oh, God realization will, only the sadhus will get the God realization. Or only the devotees will get God realization. Only the people who are doing tremendous austerity, they will God. It is no one's personal property. Of course, everyone's personal property. No one's exclusive possession. It is the pure heart, sincere heart, crying and weeping for the truth, searching for that. It is for everyone. That's why Swamiji says birthright. Spiritual awakening, or having our supreme knowledge to have it in our life, it is our very birthright. So we are, but birthright is there, but who cares for the birthright? Because we don't get a touch of those things, so we get engrossed into the world and the momentary things of life. So, but here is another assertion. Everyone. Here is no exception. He is not making any exception. Please note this word. Sri Ramakrishna says, let me tell you that the realization of self is possible for all without any exception. So what a declaration, no? That means it's our responsibility. Do we want it or not? If we want, what to do? Already he has given sincere, say. Sometimes we think that, Oh, whole day I could not call upon God. And we go on repenting and we go on talking about that, why this, and blame this work situation, blame that person. Why to spend time like that? Why not we say, okay, Lord, I tried, but no, you my condition, please help me. You can do that. You can create the environment. Can we cry like that? That is the urge here. Sincerity is the question. And earnestness is the question. And rest of the thing is in his hand. And this can be done. With the two stories, and the kitten and the monkey. Whatever attitude, kitten will say, mew, mew, mew. I do not know. I'm in distress. I cannot do it. Say, I cannot do it. Please, please. Whatever capacity you have given, with my limited capacity, I cannot do even 1 hour, 15 minutes. What's that? But when a sincere cry comes, then God, Ramakrishna said in another place, God creates environment changes, situation changes, and favorable, makes a favorable environment. So this is the point. How can be sincere, and sincere prayer that can change, makes this change. Again, M says, that is true, sir, but God is the doer. He works through different beings in different ways, according to their capacity to manifest the divine. God gives to some full spiritual consciousness, and others he keeps in ignorance. That's also another philosophy view. But M is saying that is God's doing. We cannot escape there. I say one idea. Actually, we know God does everything. Is it not? Philosophically, it is true. Ramakrishna said in another place, even the leaf does not move without God's will. So God is doing. What shall I do? God is doing me. Someone giving more opportunity to meditate and pray, and they are having sadhana more. And for me, I am like this. So God is the doer. Ramakrishna says, no. That means we are trying to escape from our responsibility of being sincere and being helpless. So why not we say, whatever I do, maybe I have done 5 minutes prayer, whole day went away in vain. Can we say, oh Lord, I should have remembered you whole day throughout all my work? That is the ideal. See my fate. I cannot even think that I am doing your work. Or I could not think of you, that it is you are there because I am doing because of you. So why not bring that idea into mind? I cannot do it. I'm helpless. Please do something. So that is the sincere helplessness. Spiritual life, helplessness is a great boon if one can say, oh Lord, I am helpless. So helpless, by your grace, everything is possible. Give me strength, give me power. So that is the Sri Ramakrishna says, no, that is not so. One should pray to God with a longing heart. Do we do that? He says, yes, God is doing everything. I understand. You cannot just say that and shirk your responsibility. You have to, second point is that one should pray. Say that, yes, I am trying utmost with my limited capacity. What can I do? I cannot lift 5 pounds. Some people can lift 50 pounds. Okay. But my condition is this 24 hours day, and this is my capacity, and I could not do anything. So this, but can we pray that way sincerely, that this is the condition? So pray with a longing heart. God certainly listens to prayer if it is sincere. Again, if we can say that, that itself is a solution to our problem. There is no doubt about it. Then a devotee is asking, yes, sir, there is this I consciousness, ego. Therefore, we must pray. Master, Sri Ramakrishna again saying, Man should reach the Nitya, the absolute, by following the trail of Lila, the relative. It's a very beautiful guideline. I cannot go to the absolute Brahman. Brahman is Satchidananda. Many people think, oh, I don't like form. I like the infinite. I like the name and formless Brahman. This is just a statement. All of us know. Close your eyes and think, I am infinite. I am Atman. I am in like sky. I am like infinite ocean. Think about that. Go. How big you can think. Close your eyes and think. You cannot make a map of the sky also. Just a horizon. You can think about the horizon, no? And you think that you will be non, is it not a form? If I say, some people demand that I don't like the form. In the form of Ramakrishna, in the form of Christ, Buddhas, or Durga, Kali. Oh, these are all forms. This is too limiting God. Oh, you are very thinking about unlimited God. What is the unlimited God concept? How much you can think? With the help of mind, this impure mind, how much can it take? So therefore, Sri Ramakrishna says that a man should reach Nitya. Ultimate is Nitya, eternal, changeless, timeless, spaceless, absolute, Satchidananda, self. One should reach that. When? By following the trail of Lila or relative. You live in this life, go through that channel and reach that goal. What is that? Think of Ramakrishna's life. His Lila, Krishna, it's Krishna Janmashtami, just celebrated. There, think Krishna, how he is born, how he is playing, through the Lila, where the infinite love has been condensed in the form. That's called avatar. Here comes the avatar worship. He is hinting here very clearly that you cannot think of infinite. You know how much you may think. You think of a matter then. See the distinction. Those who think that I am thinking of the absolute, in the name of absolute, you are thinking only some matter, sky, ocean, and some imagination. It is like light, it is like joy, but it is all imagination. If you can do imagination there, why not take advantage of this, where the infinite love, infinite joy, infinite blessings came down in human form and walked in the ground, touched somebody, gave the illumination, and lifted the people from that level to that level of illumination. Why not think that way also? That means avatar worship is very, very congenial for not for everyone, but majority of the people, because we live in the realm of name and form. Our mind is not purified to that extent, what with that sincerity that we can have any glimpse of infinity. As I said very beginning, at the mind, the cloud in the mind is making me separate from God. And if one by tears of the eyes, by prayer, or karma yoga niskama, I'm doing for you, O Lord, or Vedanta practice, but here we are emphasizing, Sri Ramakrishna is emphasizing today for the devotion, sincere prayer. So let us focus on that. By that, when the mind becomes little clearer and clearer, and the thick cloud of ignorance reduces and reduces, it is very spontaneous. More and more shining light comes through. And then, when the total clearance will happen, you will see light everywhere. Where is not sun? To the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, to the depth, to the bottom, to the above. It is all saturated with that. Only one thing, sun's light is there. So the Atman, light of the Atman, will spontaneously happen. But how to go there? That's why we make a map of, in the cloud, you can make a map of Ramakrishna. You can make a map of Krishna. You can make a map of Christ, Chaitanya, Ma Kali, Durga, Shiva. Whatever your guru teaches you, or whatever your inclination. And looking at that, and then with intense prayer and sincere effort, that cloud will vanish and God's grace will be felt. It is God's grace is not that we'll have to find out from somewhere. It is here and now. I cannot experience that because of my mind is has become such dull that it is non-receptive of that light and that joy. So Lila. So through the Lila, through the relative, we want to Sri Ramakrishna's suggestion. Through the Lila, one can go to the Nitya, the absolute. It is like reaching the roof by the stairs. After realizing the absolute, he should climb down to the relative and live on that plane in the company of the devotees, charging his mind with the love of God. This is my final and most mature opinion. Who is saying? Sri Ramakrishna is saying that is the most mature and final. Sri Ramakrishna never said too much, pays so much emphasis on it. His words are already full of truth, impregnated with truth. But here he gives special emphasis on this word, that to go to the tattva, you should go to the lila. It's exceptional people maybe there. You see, look at that. Hari Maharaj was thinking of Brahman, absolute Brahman and this and that. And then what Ramakrishna said, oh, what is there in your Vedanta? Huh? Brahman alone is true and all else is false. Is it not? And then what happened ultimately? Look at Hari Maharaj's life. Mother, 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 mother. Why are you done? He's telling Guru Das Maharaj. Why don't you have trust on mother? Mother is doing everything. Mother is doing. I see. So you go. Two ways. One, they are highly advanced souls. Who are ready to not to be discussed in our plane, but they are attaining to that absolute idea, but that coming down from that, they become saturated with the lila. So lila and tattva are not too different. That's why our meditation can be made perfectly joyful if we sometimes do meditation on lila and sometimes meditation on tattva, truth, absolute. So here gives the example that like reaching the roof, if one reaches there, and one should climb down, then after that climb down to the relative plane and live. Then how will he live? He lives with the company of the holy people. That's why we find that Sri Ramakrishna, after climbing down, whenever he comes down, he is going to the devotees, talking about God, how his life will be. That is an inspiration for others. So, sincere prayer, and that everyone, Sri Ramakrishna assures, that all will reach the same goal if they have sincerity and can charge their mind with the love of God. So this is God then has different forms, and he sports in different ways. He sports as Ishara, God with Deva, man, and the universe. This universe is another form of Brahman. And God is taking another form. Another form is the gods and goddesses. Another form is the human being, or even the creator God, Brahma, Vishnu, etc. So it is all he sports. It is the absolute God, the absolute is sporting Lila. What is Khelati Bhagavan Brahmande? There is a song, no? Khelati Bhagavan Brahmande. Bhagavan is playing in this Brahmando. Everything is his play. In the sun, in the moon, in the stars. Nazrul has a song, no? Khelicho Vishwaloye Virato Sishu Anmone. So it's play, it's fun, it is his divine sport. And he sports as a human being, as the gods and angels, as the universe, as also the creator God. In every age, he descends to the earth in human form as an incarnation to teach people love and devotion. That we are getting here. God came in the form of Rama, Krishna, Christ, Buddha, and here Sri Ramakrishna himself, without mentioning him, but he is describing the purpose of the incarnation. There is the instance of Chaitanya. One can taste devotion and love of God only through his incarnation. That to get to that divine love, ecstatic love, one will have to go through the incarnation. Because when you think of incarnation, what happens? In incarnation, there is nothing but God. It is saturated bliss, Chid Ghanakaya. It is made of consciousness, as if consciousness has been concretized, and Ramakrishna is a concretized consciousness, concretized madhu, honey, or ananda, Satchidananda Ghana. So thinking of that, mind becomes full of bliss, and that blissful mind then moves from the form, entering into the blissful attitude, and then dives deep and finds that it is the unfathomable ocean, that it is Satchidananda self. So that's why infinite are the ways of God's play, but what I need is love and devotion. God can be achieved in so many ways, Ramakrishna says, but what I need, that's why Sri Ramakrishna taught us, pray to God, give me devotion, give me love, let me not be deluded by your world bewitching Maya. So this type of prayer, and by that love and devotion is most cherished. I want only the milk, but the milk comes through the ardor of the cow. And who is the ardor? Incarnation is the ardor. So we get it that Sri Ramakrishna is the ardor for our present age. Are you becoming a little fanatic about Ramakrishna? Well, no, because he himself says that he who was Rama, he who was Krishna, and he is the Ramakrishna. So it is his presence is that he has come here to teach us devotion, give us assurance, and is giving the assurance that everyone has a birthright to attain to this ecstatic devotion and love for God. And no one can, for ordinary people like us, can go straight to the Advaita. We go to the level of duality to the absolute. But fascination may be more. Someone may be inclined more to the non-dual. But non-dual and dual are not two people. It is same incarnation in another form or in another form. When he is the absolute form, we call Brahmanatman. And when he comes down in a human form, where extraordinary love, extraordinary devotion, extraordinary samadhi, is unprecedented manifestation of the purity and all holiness. Then we have to become holy, become pure. Our mind should think of that holiness, think of purity. Absolute Brahman is pure, but I am not capable of doing that. I may try. That's why I always emphasize on this point. We try to think of absolute, but we think of the jara, matter, sky. It is the horizon. It is the ocean, water. These are our range. Here is the material aspect of the divine. But it is more. He is a tangible love. Premdhan bilai gorarai. Premdhan bilai gorarai. You see Gorarai, Sri Chaitanya is charged with love and devotion. Sri Ram, dancing in ecstasy. And just imagine wherever he is there, what happening. It's no more imagination. It is no more jara, but it is Chetan. Jara Chetana, it is called Chit Jara Granthi. Our perception is Granthi means the tie, not of what? Jara and Chetan. Consciousness mixed with what is inert. Inert seems to be appeared to us as true, and we catch on to that, and we reject what is Chetan. So this tie of knot will break if we think of God as consciousness. That's why even we cannot do. Our gurus teach us, think of He is there. Yeah, you are offering flowers, you are offering garland, and feel that He is accepting. I mean, it is not jara. Teaching that your Ishta is a living, and living is not only enough. As the mind purifies, then that image of Ramakrishna will be radiant and full of light and expression of joy. No? And then goes on, only it will remain joy and joy and joy. And as Ramakrishna gave us the vision of Mother Makali's vision, he merges into that, and that's Samadhi. Mother Kali, a statue, become illumined, and that illumination covered the every direction and expanding everything. Then mother's form dissolved, and everywhere it is ocean of light and joy. And Sri Ramakrishna as a sadhaka showing before us is a dramatic representation. It's very rarely this type of description and this type of detail of development of the purity of the soul can be has never been demonstrated before. Here we find, so that is for us to think of some conscious entity. Ramakrishna, not a photograph. Ramakrishna, not a stone image. Ramakrishna is a personality. First thing, he is a personality. And that personality is not ordinary personality. It is such a Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan has incarnated. And he is full of joy and bliss. There is nothing but joy and bliss. And thinking of that, not the our japa and meditation becomes sometimes what is called mechanical. Why? We don't put these ideas there. Who is Ramakrishna? And what is his nature? And what he actually lived in the human body in flesh and bone. But what was his contribution? So to bring that awareness, and then it becomes a lively meditation, lively prayer. And then you see, you can ask everything, you can talk to him, you can inquire about him. So this is the instruction given today. So thank you all. Jai Mata. Om Shanti Shanti